I was
But
watching a Friends episode, Friends rerun. I know you haven't watched Friends at all, really.
I
But
hate Friends
so
so
the character
much. I can't
Phoebe.
believe you watch that fucking show, dude.
Anyway, so the listeners, all the other listeners who obviously like Friends because they're cool.
Dude, but
character
no, poll in the comments. Anyone who
Poll in
watches
the
the show,
comments.
anyone who listens to this, Friends, good or bad, good or bad, good or bad, good or bad.
So my favorite character is Phoebe. Her backstory is her mother killed herself. She has an identical twin sister who's a horrible person, and she at one point was homeless. And so she's the realest person
she's a
on the
hippie.
whole show. She's a little hippie, yeah. And at one point on the episode I was watching recently, she was like talking about they were like designing this kind of creative dollhouse thing, and she was like talking about how it was built on an ancient Indian burial ground, and also that it was like built on radioactive waste or whatever. And then Ross is like, that doesn't make any sense that it was built on ancient Indian burial ground and also radioactive waste. And Phoebe turns around, looks at him, and goes, obviously you don't know anything about the U.S. government. And that was the punchline. And it's like, oh man, whoever that writer was, they snuck that shit in so well, like just so perfectly.
Well, yeah, it's true. It's true, like that. You know, like I think
this whole fucking country is ancient Indian burial ground
like
and radioactive waste at the same time.
Yeah.
Do a soil sample of your garden.
Especially the idea, like the horror movie idea that like, oh, this one house was built on an ancient Indian burial ground, rather than all of the houses
in this whole county,
all of the houses
south of this river here.
all of the roads, all of the Starbuckses, all of the all of the Target stores. Every Walmart was built on an ancient Indian burial ground. Like how dare you just say that it's this one place?
Yeah.
And that's why there are ghosts, is because of the ancient Indians. That's the reason why. Jesus Christ, I just realized how it's like how much more racist that is when you think about the fact that the whole place, the whole goddamn, from coast to coast, it's an Indian burial ground.
Yeah. Have you watched the new Stranger Things?
No, or yes.
No, or yes.
Well, no, I was thinking, I I had one episode left, and I was trying to remember if I watched the last one.
Well,
Yes.
so the last 2 episodes don't come out until July.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying I watched the last one that's available now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
And
thoughts?
you don't. I like that's the thing. Like I don't even. While I'm watching something, I'm like, huh, that's good, or huh, that's silly, or like this. This season is gayer than the other ones. Like I'm like the kid that was trapped in the first one, the one that wasn't in the first one. He is gay, and he needs to realize that he's gay, that he's just gay. It has like a crush on his friend. And he's gay because there's more than one time Will has been like, you know, man, we just like don't hang out anymore. Like, and it's like you are now like what? You're like 16, 17? Get the fuck out of here. Like, you know who you're gay. You're either gay or you don't talk like that because your friend is getting pussy. You should be getting pussy. What the fuck? You're gay. You're just gay. That's the answer. It's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with you. Do you know what I'm saying? But you are gay, and you should realize that so that you can start trying to date other gay boys and not.
Well, maybe that will come out in the last 2 episodes that come out.
No, I even looked it up because fucking somebody on the internet was like, he's gay, isn't he? And I was like, yes. Thank you. And then somebody else was like, I watched an interview with the guys that created the show, and they were like, you know, his sexuality is like up to you to think. And then it's like, oh, okay, you're copping out because of like China or something. Because of all the great things that China is doing. One of them is not liking gay people for some reason, even though who cares? Plus, isn't the Chinese population like mostly dudes? It's like if you're not gay in China, then what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, you better be looking to move to fucking Indonesia or some shit. I don't know. Where's the babes at? Can I bring up an article that goes along with that?
Sure.
From the Wall Street Journal.
Oh God.
And I cannot. It's behind a paywall, so I'm only going to read the headline.
Yeah, because fuck you, Wall Street Journal. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you, Wall Street Journal. But the headline from this article from the Wall Street Journal that I'm now going to promote is Saudi Arabia moves toward eventual ties with Israel.
Oh, well, then it's over then, right? Then the fiction that Israel isn't America is gone, right?
Yeah.
If the country with Mecca in it recognizes Israel, then I guess there aren't any more Palestinians, are there? Like,
yeah, I mean they've already, like, Israel's already normalized relations with the UAE and all that shit. Like Trump was like flaunting that like it was this big deal or whatever, but it's like this kind of shit, this new power dynamic it's not even that new, but it's like this shift of like alliance of U.S., Israel, Saudi Arabia, and it used to be kind of Russia, but not so much anymore. But like, like it was like this kind of alliance but it's been bonding even higher and higher lately. And now I feel like, yeah, it's like the triad of, at least of U.S., like we're talking just specifically with the Middle East and the U.S., Israel, and Saudi Arabia are the right-wing creators of evil of that whole Middle Eastern region. If you think about it, I mean, Iran's not the greatest actor in the world, but they aren't nearly as bad as Israel and Saudi Arabia, in my opinion, as far as the human rights abuses and all that shit.
It's not even like that, right? It's when you talk about stuff like that in that, this is what I've been learning from listening to that American Prestige podcast, is that when you talk about stuff in the terms of like, well, they're not as like when it's a good and bad thing, as opposed to like an America is trying to hurt you as a society versus America isn't trying to hurt you as a society, right? Like that's you're the human rights abuses and the human rights of the whole human rights smoke screen for that is fucking total bullshit, right? It's like everyone's awful, the whole world is terrible, and the structures that run the world is terrible. And so
no, I'm not one of those like people who's like, oh, because Iran hates the United States, Iran is perfect or something.
There's only one good place in the world that as far as the state goes in that place, and it is Cuba, and I want to go there. but
Cuba, I mean Vietnam to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Even like Sweden, like not that
man,
bad,
fuck Sweden. That's another thing we can talk about. Fuck the Swedes and whatever. So the internet has exploded in the last week or
because of the NATO thing.
No, because it's been a tweet thing that's been going around. Okay. It's already old, but this is what happened. Is that it was revealed that Nordic countries are really stingy with their food. That if you're say you are in Sweden and you're a little kid and you are at your friend's house playing with your friend and it's dinner time, right? Now, in any other culture in the goddamn world, that would mean that oh, kid, that's not my kid. You want to eat since we're all eating, right? Would you like a plate of food, child? It's no, you're supposed to go wait in your friend's room and play by yourself while the family eats, and then when they're done eating, and then that spiraled into a whole that spiraled into and if you go to your friend's birthday party, they're gonna ask you for money, right? They're gonna ask you to chip in for your share of the fucking food that was eaten at the party. And it's what? wait a minute. You mean to, and then that turned into a whole like thing about like, wait a minute, maybe this is the unintended consequences of like a good social safety net is that you, because the like because like the state like takes care of you or like, you know, helps you out, you don't have the sense of community that comes with being poor and downtrodden and having everything be shitty all the time. And like, so it turned into this whole, the whole thing came and went right in the last week. Dude, every day for the last month, there's been a mass shooting somewhere in America every single fucking day. What? Like, is it just because now we are loosening the definition of what a mass shooting is, paying more attention to small towns or something? Or,
well,
like, or is it that there's actually more?
I think we're paying attention to it more now. Is really I don't think that there's more going on now than there have been before. There's just been more prominent ones that stick in the news. You know what I mean? There was the Buffalo one was very racially motivated, so that stuck. And we'd probably still be talking about it, but of course the Uvalde,
the elementary school in Texas, where the cops
that
didn't
one
do it.
is the one that's always the one that involves children is always going to be the ones that stick the hardest for most people, because of course it's like the most innocent lives lost and all that. This, you know, but the fact that those two have made all the other ones kind of more like, you hear about a shooting and you're like, oh my god. I mean, like even in our hometown, there's been
but that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, you know? like even in our hometown, you know, like there's been a shooting recently. It was like a graduation party. So I mean, it's like the shit's been going on crazy lately.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that it's like that's this. All right. The thing that I was just gonna say is like the fact that as a country, you could say the sentence, the ones with children are going to stick out the most. It's
for real though. Like you think about
it. But this is what I'm saying. Is that any other country in the world, right? The first one with children is gonna be the last one with children, right? There's not any more. We are going to.
This is the USA, baby.
It's fucking insane, dude. Like,
yeah. No, and honestly, you know, we'll see what these there's like a Senate bipartisan committee on what to do about this problem, and like also back during the State of the Union, Biden promised to do some sort of like big mental health push initiative thing or whatever. Haven't heard anything since about that. I'm interested to see, are they going to do anything related to trying to increase access to mental health at all? Like like obviously they're not going to do shit about guns. That's number one. You know that's not going to happen. We are the gun country. Our economy is like 79% selling guns to people. It's just that shit I don't expect to ever change. But the part about mental health, like that's a big fucking part of this too. And like if they're actually gonna like put together a committee and fucking come up with some ideas, like do you think they're actually gonna come up with some kind of bill that's gonna increase access to mental health? My guess is no, even though that's like the low-hanging fruit. If you're not gonna fuck with gun laws, then at least goddamn fucking give some people some fucking mental health, like access to like, you know, psychiatrists, or
And
you know,
drugs.
therapists, yeah, drugs that they need,
Drugs.
whatever they need to not go and do these horrible violent acts, you know. Like, I mean, it's, to me, like that's society 101. Is
Yeah.
it's like
No,
you
but
have to
also-
understand there's going to be a certain amount of people who have really bad mental health problems, and you need to make it really easy for them to
Get
like
help.
get help. And that's just
Well, and but
like, our country's not interested in that at all. It's all about, like, as Noam Chomsky
Yeah,
said,
down to
your
the
only
fucking-
rights here in this country are the ones that you can afford on the free market.
That's true.
That's one of my favorite Chomsky quotes, because it's the most true thing about this country. You don't have shit for fucking rights unless you can afford that shit on the free goddamn market.
Well,
You
right,
can buy
and
it
that's
at
why
7-Eleven or down the street from the dude, you know, out of his trunk or whatever. Whatever the fuck. If you don't have the money for it, then you don't have it. Fuck you. Whether it's mental
Yeah.
health, whether
Like-
it's fucking normal health care, you know, bodily health care, whether it's fucking, you know, education beyond public school, whatever it is, you're a fucking creek without a paddle if you don't have any fucking money. Sorry. That's our ethos
Yeah.
here.
it's Noam Chomsky and Bill Hicks said those things in like you know, like it's like Bill Hicks said it in the joke way and Chomsky said it in the streamlined, like, this is exactly what's happening in one sentence, right?
Yeah.
Like, the free market
Chomsky
dictates the
will
rights.
talk for like
The end.
1 minute and drop like 10 solid truth nuggets that you've never even really thought about, like in like 1 minute of talking. You're just like,
And Bill Hicks did that too when you were 15 years old. You know what I mean? Like like when you're growing up under like the thumb of like your parents, right? It's like,
yeah.
hey, guess what?
both of them, if you've never
I'm an
heard
adult.
any of the shit
Drugs
before,
are good. Like, it's like, you know, you know what? Like, you know what else is good? Like pussy and playing guitar. Oh, nice. You know, and you're like, yeah, fucking A, dude. Like, I don't, it's like, that's the, or whatever. And then it's like, hey, guess what? We're also fucking going out of our way to kill brown people all the time. Did you know that? Haha. Okay. Well, because now you do. Right. It's like,
Yeah.
there's just like a handful of people that, like, it's like it starts in like, the very easily culturally like appropriated and like detuned way of like someone like like Martin Luther King or like John Lennon or something like that. Like there's like a certain, or Bob Marley, right? There's a certain like culturally ubiquitous person who has been like molded to fit the exact like capitalist approved like way of like saying like things are bad and we should change them.